I saw the king eating with people who had been dead for weeks. And I swear one of them looked straight at me. My name doesn't matter. In those days, nobody cared about the names of slaves. I walked in the palace of King Obakuro, the most feared king in our region. People said he was wicked, but I didn't know how wicked until the night everything changed. I was brought to the palace when I was 14. My job was simple: clean the halls, wash the king's clothes, and never talk unless spoken to. The king never smiled. He walked like the whole world belonged to him. Everyone feared him, chiefs, guards, even his wives, but the worst fear came from something else: his secret room. There was one room nobody went near. It was at the far end of the palace, behind a heavy wooden door. No guards stood there, but everyone avoided it. People said the king kept things in that room that didn't belong in this world. I thought it was just a story. Then one night, the king called me. He said his room needed cleaning, not his bedroom, not his throne room, but his secret room. I wanted to say no, but in those days, saying no to the king was like asking for death, so I followed him. When he opened the door, a strong smell hit me. Not rotten, not fresh, just strange. Like the air inside didn't belong here. He lit a small oil lamp and told me to walk in. I stepped inside, shaking. What I saw made my body go cold. There was a long wooden table. Around it sat 8 people. At first, I thought they were alive, because they sat straight and faced the table, but when the lamplight touched their faces, I knew something was wrong. Their skin was dry, their eyes were open but empty, their mouths hung slightly like they had been frozen while talking. Their clothes were old and torn. Some of them had marks on their necks or arms. Then it hit me. I had seen 2 of these people before in the village, but they had been buried weeks ago. King Obakuro sat at the head of the table like nothing was strange. He poured palm wine into a cup and raised it. To my loyal counsel, he said. None of them moved. The king smiled like he enjoyed their silence. Then he told me, "Fetch the food." My hands almost dropped the lamp. Food? For who? But I obeyed. I left the room and came back with a tray of roasted yam and fish the cooks had prepared earlier. The king placed the tray in the center of the table. None of the dead people reached for the food, but the king did, and then something horrifying happened. He took a piece of yam and lifted it toward the mouth of the man beside him. The man's dry jaw cracked open. I heard it clearly. His jaw cracked like old wood bending, his head turned toward the food, his mouth opened wider. I almost screamed. The king pressed the yam into the man's mouth. It didn't chew, it didn't swallow. The yam just sat there, stuck, as the head slowly tilted back into place. That was when one of the dead women turned her head toward me. Her eyes were empty, but they were focused on me. I dropped the bowl I was holding and ran out of the room. I didn't care if the king killed me. I just ran. I hid behind the palace kitchen, shaking so hard I couldn't stand. I heard the king's voice calling me. "Come back," he said calmly. "You already belong to this place." I refused. I stayed outside till morning. When dawn came, I found out something even worse. The secret room was empty, table gone, bodies gone, not even footprints. The king acted like nothing happened. He walked around giving orders, smiling at the chiefs. But every time he walked past me, he whispered, "You saw nothing, but nothing will leave you." I never planned to expose King Obakuro. I was too scared. I was just a slave who wanted to stay alive, but the king made a mistake, and that mistake destroyed him. After the night in the secret room, I tried to stay far from the king, but he kept calling me for small tasks. He watched me too closely. He spoke to me in a strange way, like he owned my fear. One morning, the king told all the chiefs to gather in the throne room. He also told the guards to bring me. My hands shook as I walked in. I thought he was going to punish me, but then something unexpected happened. 2 chiefs walked in late. Everyone stared at them. Not because they were late, but because of their clothes, old, torn clothes. The same clothes the dead council members wore in the secret room. My heart almost stopped. When they walked in, every guard and every chief stared at the clothes because they knew those clothes, the clothes of the people who died recently. The room was silent. Everyone's fear turned into suspicion. One brave chief finally spoke. "Your Majesty, why are the dead wearing the clothes of your council?" The king froze in shock as tried to speak, but his voice cracked a little. "They are not dead," he said. But no one believed him. The guards took a step back. The chiefs looked at each other. "Show us the room. We want to see what is inside," they said. The king's eyes turned dark. He screamed. no one enters that room. That was the moment everyone knew something evil was going on. The guards had feared the king for years, but now they saw he wasn't untouchable. When the chiefs ordered them to open the secret room, they listened. The king fought them, he scratched, he kicked, he even beat one guard on the arm, but they held him down. When the door opened, the smell came first. That same strange smell from before. Inside, the table was back, the bodies were sitting again, faces dry, eyes open, mouth slightly open, one body even had the same piece of yam stuck in its mouth. The chief stepped back in fear and anger. "The king has been dining with the dead," one whispered. A chief turned to me. "You saw this before?" I nodded. I told them everything, the fake council, the food, the dead woman who turned her head, the king forcing me to serve him. After I spoke, nobody defended the king, not even one person. Word spread fast. By evening, the whole town gathered at the palace. Women, men, elders, young people, everyone came. People had suffered under the king for too long, some had lost land, some had lost children, some had been beaten for small things, and now the truth was out. The king was so wicked. The chiefs and elders met that night, they talked for hours. I sat outside the room, shaking, waiting to hear my fate too. When they finally came out, the oldest chief called my name. "You spoke when others were scared," he said. "You worked hard even as a slave, you saw evil but did not obey it." I didn't understand what he was saying. Then another chief spoke. "You and your people will not be slaves again. From today, you are free." The crowd cheered as I felt my knees shake. Then the oldest chief put his hand on my shoulder and said the words that changed everything. "You will sit on the throne, you will be our new king." I almost fainted. Me, a slave, a boy who cleaned clothes and swept floors, but the people shouted, "Yes, let him rule." They lifted me up and carried me through the palace yard. I cried for the first time in years. They didn't kill King Obakuro, they locked him in his own secret room, the same place he forced me to enter. Some say he went mad, some say he talked to the bodies until he lost his voice, some say he started seeing things that were never there. I never went near that room again. The next morning, I stood before the whole town. I promised only one thing: no one in this land will ever be a slave again. The people cheered. My tribe, who had suffered under the king, walked into the palace as free people for the first time. Some cried, some laughed, some fell to their knees in relief. I was crowned with a simple ceremony, no loud drums, no big party, just the people standing together, united, and for the first time, the palace felt safe. But even now, sometimes at night, when I walk past the old door, I hear small sounds from inside, not voices, not footsteps, just the slow cracking sound of a jaw opening and closing, and every time I hear it, I whisper, "You cannot rule here anymore."